Lucid's second largest market for reservations in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Customers are now being invited to check out the car in person at a pop-up studio in Riyadh, the Saudi capital. Watch the video ahead to know everything about it. Hello guys, welcome to another exciting video from eMotion. In today's video, we go over major updates from the Lucid Air Saudi Arabia deliveries and everything you need to know about the Riyadh Lucid studio. But before we get into the specifics, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon for more exciting content and updates in the future. Now let's get started. Lucid is expanding its presence within the country that has funded a large portion of its growth as a company, which can be only described as a huge step in the right direction. The pop-up event, which will run until the end of January 2022, is housed within the opulent Kingdom Tower Mall in the nation's capital city. Customers can learn about and interact with Lucid's vehicles in its studio showrooms, which use a combination of virtual reality and real-world samples. According to rumors, customer deliveries within the kingdom will begin soon with invited guest Abdulrahman Al-Bugami. In a subsequent response, Al-Bugami mentions a conversation he had with a Lucid employee who revealed that the manufacturer had leased 2 locations in Riyadh, one of which was large enough to function as a service center for Lucid's vehicles. Profitable for business. Despite Saudi Arabia's oil wealth and current lack of EV infrastructure, it makes sense that this is Lucid's first stop outside of the United States. The Saudi Public Investment Fund owns a majority of a $26 billion stake in the EV manufacturer, which has already yielded a tidy profit for the kingdom and will hopefully serve to shift the country's transportation needs away from fossil fuels. Lucid's vehicles and CEO Peter Rawlinson were prominently featured at the kingdom's Future Investment Initiative Forum in October 2021, contributing to the conference's theme of shifting away from oil and toward renewable energies. 2030 Vision. Saudi Arabia accounts for half of the Gulf Cooperation Council's vehicle imports, which are made up of prominent Gulf nations. The government hopes that by 2030, a manufacturing hub on the West Coast will provide 50% of the nation's new vehicle requirements, and Lucid may be poised to capitalize on a first-mover advantage. By 2024, Lucid intends to open a $3 billion Saudi manufacturing facility similar to its AMP-1 factory in Casa Grande, Arizona. Other automakers will undoubtedly follow Lucid's lead and open their own facilities in the kingdom, but none will be as close to the Saudi government as Lucid. With numerous clean energy and EV infrastructure plans in the works, Lucid Motors' expansion into Saudi Arabia represents a golden opportunity. Many companies in the electric vehicle or EV sector have gone above and beyond this year. When it comes to the design and production of their vehicles, they've been kicking it into high gear. Of course, Tesla, Chinese EV company NIO, and star player Lucid are the market leaders. Let's see how Lucid stacks up against NIO and by extension Tesla. The Lucid Group, formerly known as Lucid Motors, aims to be the first serious competitor to market leader Tesla. We all know by now how much of a beast Tesla is when it comes to vehicle innovations, but Lucid appears to have a little fight in them. On the spur of the moment, we don't just say it's a real threat to Tesla. There's several reasons why we and many other experts and analysts believe this. The most obvious reason is that Lucid's CEO is Peter Rawlinson, a former Tesla employee. It would also help that he was the chief engineer on Tesla's Model S sedan's design. Another reason these aren't just empty threats is that Lucid was aiming for the luxury sedan EV market, making bold claims about having a longer battery range than Tesla's Model S. However, this may not be the case because Tesla has the steadfast and unwavering support of investors, thanks to a market capitalization of more than $700 billion. This leads us to a potentially more digestible comparison: the battle between Lucid and a manufacturer much closer to their level of value and development. Without a doubt, this company is none other than NIO, a Chinese EV manufacturer. It's not surprising that both companies have different strategies for their respective markets. NIO's home market in China is the world's largest automotive market. It also helps that their government is constantly pushing the boundaries of what the market can be. NIO has produced nearly 100,000 SUVs in the last year and a half, and they don't appear to be slowing down anytime soon. The only disadvantage to NIO and the way they operate in their market is that the Chinese Communist Party introduces a number of potential risks for investors, but it appears that they all have the same goals. They all want to grow and contribute to the EV market, which is great for any EV-focused company. Lucid, on the other hand, will be primarily focused on the US market. Instead of mid-range SUVs, the company's first vehicle will be a premium Dream Edition Air luxury sedan. As of now, all reservations for this limited edition are fully booked, which is worth more than $160,000 after tax credits. However, for those who are still hoping, they will continue to release other Air models, including ones that cost less than $70,000 after taxes. Despite the fact that they're fundamentally different companies, With vastly different markets and playing styles, they do share some similarities. They both intend to release a luxury vehicle possibly at a time close to each other. They both have plans to expand their markets internationally, with NIO kicking off their European expansion by shipping some units to Norway. Lucid also intends to include products that are not limited to the EV sector. They've been focusing on technology and innovations other than automobiles, such as an energy storage system. And like NIO, they're making inroads into European and Middle Eastern markets. So the question is, how are Tesla, NIO, and Lucid competing for the top spot? NIO and Lucid, like the leading brand Tesla, aim to be much more than EV companies. Lucid is doing everything possible to gain a competitive advantage in the field of battery technology. They've even promised a single charge range of up to 517 miles. There were even claims that it would be more efficient than the Tesla Model S, which has a range of 412 miles. However, unlike Tesla, both NIO and Lucid are tied to investors who don't want to pull all of their eggs in one basket. NIO may appear to be a better investment due to its rapid increase in sales, which makes it a lower-risk company. However, its market capitalization is $62 billion compared to Lucid's valuation of $33.5 billion. Based solely on the US sales, NIO leads the pack as the more stable company to invest in. On the other hand, Lucid is steadily rising with a market value that has the potential to grow into something significant. At this point, Lucid has also become very highly valued, with great potential that can be realized if it can be successfully managed production and quality. But this isn't a video about Lucid and NIO's potential as massive EV sector companies. This is a video that predicts what will happen if Lucid Motors begins to deliver. What are the implications for Tesla and NIO? To begin with, Lucid Group recently announced that they would be delivering luxury electric sedans with driving ranges that'll undoubtedly exceed Tesla's. It'll cause significant problems for the market leader, whose premium model sales have come to a halt. They've already begun production with plans to increase plant capacity to 90,000 vehicles per year within the next 2 years. This increased mileage range increased Lucid's stock by 23% just this September. Rawlinson claims that with the new battery, he has eliminated his customers' fear of range anxiety. The tricky part was determining the cost-effectiveness of electric vehicles. He claimed that the Air Pure was the least expensive version, costing $77,400, and that production would begin late next year. It's incredible to see how a small and unknown company like Lucid managed to compete with the EV sector's behemoth, Tesla. Rawlinson now faces tasks similar to those faced by Tesla during its early days, particularly when it comes to addressing manufacturing challenges. According to some critics, Lucid's biggest challenge will be execution. The grand design is based on a brilliant concept. It's a very appealing car, to be sure, but its glitz and glamour will be difficult to match with horsepower and sheer innovation. This isn't a new occurrence for Tesla, as they've been dealing with production hiccups for quite some time. Musk even announced the cancellation of his plan to launch a Model S Plaid Plus with a 520-mile driving range. In true Elon Musk fashion, he describes the Model S Plaid as just so good, and then he adds, production is difficult. For investors interested in growing EV makers, NIO and Lucid are definitely strong competitors to Tesla. And that's all we've got for today. Thank you for taking the time to watch the video. If you liked it, please like, share, and subscribe to our Engine Nation channel for more videos like this one. See you in the next video.